I see you've inserted the cartridge again. It's good that your curiosity has brought you back to me. Since you ran away last time, I never had the chance to introduce myself to you. You. I'm Ben, and you let me drown. How could you do this to me? How could you do this? Come on, let's play a game. I can't wait to see how you die. I'm sure it will be fun for one of us.
Post 1, September 7th, 2010. Okay, I need your help with this. This is not copypasta. This is a long read, but I feel like my safety or well-being could very well depend on this. This is a video game related, specifically Majora's Mask, and this is the creepiest shit that has ever happened to me in my entire life. Having said that, I recently moved into my dorms starting sophomore in college, and a friend of mine gave me an old Nintendo 64 to play. I was stoked, to say the least. I could finally play these old games from my youth that I haven't touched in at least a decade. His Nintendo 64 came with a yellow controller and rather a shoddy copy of Super Smash Bros. And while beggars can't be choosers, needless to say, it didn't take long until I became bored of beating up level 9 CPUs. That week, I decided to drive around my neighborhood about 20 minutes or so off campus, hitting up local garage sales, hoping to score some good game deals and from ignorant parents. I ended up picking up a copy of Pokemon Stadium, GoldenEye, fuck yeah, F-Zero, and 2 other controllers for $2. Satisfied, I began to drive out of the neighborhood when one last house caught my attention. I still had no idea why it did. There were no cars. There were only one table and a set of random junk on it. But something sort of drew me there. I usually trust my gut on these things, so I got out of my car and I was greeted by an old man. His outward appearance was, for lack of better words, displeasing. It was odd. If you asked me to tell you why I thought he was displeasing, I couldn't really pinpoint anything. There was just something about him that put me on edge. I couldn't explain it. All I can tell you is that if it wasn't for the middle of the afternoon and there were other people around within shouting distance, I wouldn't have thought of approaching this man. He flashed a crooked smile at me and asked what I was looking for, and immediately I noticed that he was blind in one of his eyes. His right eye had that glazed over look in it. I forced myself to look in his left eye instead, trying not to offend him, and asked him if he had any old video games. I was already wondering how I could politely excuse myself from the situation when he would tell me he had no idea what a video game was, but to my surprise, he said he had a few ones in an old box. He assured me he'd be back in a jiffy and turned his head back into the garage. As I watched him hobble away, I couldn't help but notice that what he was selling on the table. Littered across the table was rather particular paintings, various artworks that looked like ink blots that a psychiatrist might show you. Curious, I looked through them. It was obvious why no one visited this guy's garage sale. They weren't exactly artistically pleasing. As I came to the last one, for some reason, it looked almost like Majora's Mask. The same heart-shaped body with its spikes pounding outward. Instantly, I just thought that since I was secretly hoping to find a game at this garage sale, some feud and bullshit was projecting itself in the ink blots. But given the event that happened afterwards, I'm not so sure now. I should have asked the old man about it. I wish I would have asked the old man about it. After staring at the Majora-shaped blot, I looked up and the old man was suddenly there again, arm's length in front of me, smiling. I admit, I jumped out of reflex and laughed nervously as he handed me a Nintendo 64 cartridge. It was a standard gray color, except some had written Major on the black permanent marker. I got butterflies in my stomach as I realized what coincidence that this was and asked how much he wanted for it. The old man smiled at me and told me that I could have it for free, that it was used to belong to a kid who was about my age that didn't live here anymore. There was something weird about it, how the man phrased it though, but I didn't really pay attention to it then. I was too caught up in only finding finding this game, but getting it for free. I reminded myself to be a bit skeptical since this looked like a pretty shady cartridge and there was no guarantee that it would work, but the optimism inside me interjected that might have been some kind of beta version or pirated version of the game, and that was all needed to go back to Cloud 9. I thanked the man, and the man smiled at me and wished me while saying goodbye then. At least, that's what I thought he said. All the way to the car ride home, I had the nagging doubt that the man had said something else. My theory was conjoined when I booted up the game. To my surprise, it worked just fine. There was one save file, simply Ben. Goodbye, Ben. He was saying, goodbye, Ben. I felt bad for the man. Obviously a grandparent and obviously going senile, and I, for some reason or another, reminded him of his grandson, Ben. Out of curiosity, I looked at one of the same files. Eyeballing it, I could tell that he was pretty far in the game. He had almost beaten the game. Masked 3 out of 4, and remains of the bosses. I noticed that he still used an owl statue to save his game. He was on day 3 by the Stone Tower Temple, with hardly an hour left before the moon would crash. I remember thinking that it was a shame that he had came so close to beating the game but never finished it. I made a new save file named Linked, added addition, and started the game up, ready to relive my childhood. For such a shady cartridge, I was impressed at how smoothly it ran. Literally, it was a retail copy of the game, save for minor hiccups here and there, like text being where they shouldn't be, random flashes of cutscene, and odd intervals, but nothing so bad. However, the only thing that little unnerving that at times was the NPCs would call me Linked, and at the times others would call me Ben. I figured it was just a bug, a fluke at the program causing our files to get mixed up or something. It did kind of creep me out though after a while. It was after I'd beaten the Woodfall Temple that I regrettably went to the save file and deleted Ben. I had intended to preserve the file just out of respect to the gamer's original owner. It's not like I needed 2 save files anyway. Hoping that it would solve the problem, it did. And it didn't now. NPCs wouldn't call me anything. What the name should be, the dialogue would just be a blank space. The name file would still be linked though. Frustrated with homework to do, I laid the game down. I started playing the game again last night, getting the lens of truth and working my way towards completing the Snowhead Temple. Now, some of you hardcore Majora's Mask players know about the 4th day glitch. For those of you who don't, you can Google it, but the gist of it is right when the clock is about to hit 000000 on the final day, you talk to the astronomer and look through the telescope. If you time it right, the countdown disappears, and you essentially have another day to finish whatever you were doing. Deciding to do the glitch and try to finish the Snowhead Temple, I happened to get it right on the first try, and the time counter at the bottom disappeared. However, when I pressed the B to exit the telescope, instead of being greeted by the astronomer, I found myself in the Majora's Mask fight room at the end of the game, the trippy boxed-in area, staring at the Skull Kid hovering above me. There was no sound, just him floating in the air above me, and in the background music, which was regular for the area, but still creepy. Immediately, my palms began to sweat. This was definitely not normal. Skull Kid never appeared here. I tried moving around the area, and no matter where I went, Skull Kid would always be facing me, looking at me, not saying anything. Nothing would happen, though, and this kept up for around 60 seconds. I thought the game had bugged or something, but I was beginning to doubt that very much. I was about to reach the reset button when a text appeared on the screen. You're not sure why, but you apparently had a reservation. I instantly recognized that text. You get that message when you get the room key at Anju at the stockpot inn, but why was it playing here? I refused to entertain the notion that it was almost as if the game was trying to communicate with me. I started I started to navigate the room again, testing to see if it was some sort of trigger that enabled me to interact with something here. Then I realized how stupid it was to even think that someone could reprogram the game. That would be absurd. Sure enough, 15 seconds later, another message appeared on the screen that said, like the first one, it was already pre-existing frames. Go to the lair of the boss's temple? Yes or no? I paused for a second, contemplating which I should press, and how the game would react. When I realized that I couldn't select no, taking a deep breath, I pressed yes, and the screen faded to white, with the words Dawn of a New Day, with the subtitle 11111111 beneath it, where I could potentially fill with the most intense sense of dread and impotent fear that I have ever experienced. The only way I describe the way I felt is having this feeling of inexplicable depression on the profound scale. I was normally not a depressed person, but the way I felt here was a feeling that I didn't even know existed. It was such a twisted, powerful presence that seemed to wash over me. I appeared in some kind of weird Twilight Zone fusion of clock tower. I walked out of the clock tower as you normally do when you start from day one, only to find that all of the inhibitions were gone. Usually with the fourth day glitch, you could still find the guards and the dog that still run around the tower. This time, they were all gone. What replaced there was an anonymous feeling that was something out of there. In the same area was me that was watching me. I had 4 hearts in a hero's bow, but at the point I was very convinced from my avatar. I felt that I personally was in some kind of danger. Perhaps the most chilling thing was the music. It was the song of healing, ripped straight out of the game itself, but played in reverse. The music was getting louder, building up so I should expect something to pop out at you, but nothing ever did, and the constant loop began to wear onto my mental state. Every now and then I would hear the fateful laugh of the Happy Mask salesman in the background, just enough so that I wasn't sure if I was hearing things, but just loud enough to keep me determined to find him. I looked in all 4 zones of the clock tower only to find nothing. No one. Textures were missing. West Clock Tower had me walking on air. The entire area felt broken, hopelessly broken. As a song of healing repeated for what seemed like the 50th time, I remember standing in the middle of South Clock Tower, realizing that I never felt so alone in a video game before. As I walked through the ghost town, I didn't know whether it was a combination of the out-of-place text and the atmosphere and the haunted melody of the once peaceful and soothing song being butchered and disoriented, but I was literally on the verge of tears, and I had no idea why. I hardly ever cry. Something had gripped me here in this powerful sense of depression that was both foreign and crippling. I tried to leave Clock Tower, but every time I attempted to zone out, the screen would fade to black, and I was just in another part of the clock tower. I tried playing my ocarina. I wanted to escape, and I did not want to be here. But every time I played the Song of Time or the Song of Soaring, it would only say, "Your notes echo far," but nothing happens. By this point, it was obvious the game didn't want me to leave, but I had no idea why it was keeping me here, and I didn't want to go inside the building. I felt that I was too vulnerable to whatever I was terrified of. I don't know why, but I came up with the idea that maybe if I drowned myself at the laundry pool, I could spawn somewhere else and leave this place. As I zoned in and ran towards the pool, that's when it happened. Link grabbed his head, and the screen flashed for a brief moment of the Happy Mask salesman smiling at me. Not Link. Me with Skull Kid's scream playing in the background, and when the screen turned, I was staring at the Link statue from playing the song of Elegy of Emptiness. I screamed as the thing just stared back at me with a haunting facial expression. I turned and ran out and back into South Clock Tower. Into my plain horror, the fucking statue followed me in the way. The only way I can compare this is like a weeping angel from Doctor Who. Every so often, at random intervals, the animation would play of the statue appearing behind me. It was like the thing was chasing me, or I don't want to even fucking say it, haunting me. By this point, I was on the verge of hysteria, but not even once did I thought of turning off the console occurred to me. I don't know why. I was so wrapped up in it. The terror felt so real. I tried to shake the statue, but it was literally appearing right behind me every single time. Link started to begin to make weird animations I had never seen before. He would flail his arms around or spaz randomly, and the screen would cut to Happy Mask salesman smiling again. For a brief moment before I was face to face with the fucking statue again, I ended up running into the Swordsmaster's dojo and ran to the back. I don't know why, but in my panic, I just wanted some kind of assurance that I was not the only one here. To my dismay, I found no one. But as I turned to leave, the statue cornered me in the cubby in the back. I tried attacking the statue with my sword, but to no avail. Confused, backed into a corner. I tried staring at the statue, waiting for it to kill me. Suddenly, the screen flashed again to the Happy Mask Salesman, and Link turned to face my screen, standing upright, mirroring the statue, looking at me along with his copy, literally staring at me. Whatever was left on the fourth wall was completely shattering, while I ran out of the dojo terrified. Suddenly, the game brought me into an underground tunnel, and the reverse song of healing queued up again, and I was only given a brief moment to rest before the statue started appearing behind me again, this time aggressively. I could only take a few moments before it could summon behind me. I hurriedly made my way out of the tunnel and peered southern in Clock Tower. As I ran aimlessly in sheer panic, suddenly a dead screaming, and the screen faded to black as Dawn of a New Day and 1111111 appeared again. The screen faded, and I was cut to the top of the clock tower with Skull Kid hovering over me again, silently. I looked up, and the moon was back, looming just meters above my head. But the Skull Kid was just staring at me hauntingly with its fucking mask. A new song was playing. The Stone Tower Temple theme played in reverse. In some sort of desperate attempt, I quit my bow and fired a shot at the Skull Kid, and it actually hit him, and he played an animation of him reflailing back. I fired again. And on the third arrow, the text appeared again, saying, "You won't do that. That won't do you any good." Hee hee. And I was picked up the ground and levitated towards the back, and then Link's screen as bursted into the flames, instantly killing him. I jumped when this happened. I had never seen this move used by anyone in the game, and Skull Kid himself didn't have any of these moves. As the death screen played, my lifeless body still burning, the Skull Kid laughed, and the screen faded to black, only for me to reappear in the same place. I decided to charge him, but the same thing happened. Link's body was lifted off the ground by some unknown force, and he immediately burst into flames, killing him. This time, during the death scene, the faint sound of the reverse song of healing could be heard. On my third and final try, I noticed that no music was playing, that it was just eerie silence. I remembered that in the original encounter with the Skull Kid, you were supposed to use the ocarina to travel back in time or summon the giants. I attempted to play the Song of Time, but before I could hit the last note, Link's body once again horrifically exploded into flames, and he died. As the death screen neared its end, it began to chug, as if the cartridge was trying to process a lot of something. When the screen came to, it was the same screen as the first 3 times, except this time Link was lying on the ground dead in a position I had never seen in the game before. His head was tilted towards the camera, with the Skull Kid floated above him. I couldn't move. I couldn't press any buttons. All I could do was stare at Link's dead body. After around 30 seconds of this, the game simply fades out a message, "You've met with a terrible fate, haven't you?" before kicking out to the screen title. Upon getting back to the title screen and starting, I noticed the same files were no longer there. Instead, Link was replaced by "Your turn." Your turn had 3 hearts, 0 mask, and no items. I selected Your turn, and immediately when I did, I returned to the clock tower's rooftop scene of Link's dead and the Skull Kid hovering over, with the Skull Kids laughing, looping again and again. I quickly hit the reset button. When the game booted up again, there was one more save file under it below Your Turn entitled Ben. Ben's save file is right back where it was before I deleted it at Stone Tower Temple with the moon almost crashing. I turned the game off at this point. It's not superstitious, but this is way too fucked up, even for me. I haven't played it all today. Hell, I didn't even get any sleep last night. I kept hearing the reverse song of healing music in my head and just remembered the scene of dread I felt exploring Clock Tower. I drove back to the old man's house today to ask him some questions with a buddy of mine. No way was I going there alone, only to find that the house was for sale in front of the yard. And when I rang the doorbell, no one was home. So now I'm back here writing the rest of my thoughts and recording what happened. Sorry if this has grammatical errors and whatnot. I'm running on no sleep here. I'm terrified of this game. Even so, now that I'm relieved and it's the second time writing this all down, but I feel like there's still more than meets the eye, and that there's something calling me to investigate this further. I think Ben is something in this equation, but I don't know what. And if I can get a hold of the old man, then I would be able to find some answers. I need another day or so to recuperate before tackling this game again. It's already taken a toll on my sanity, I feel like, but next time I do this, I'm going to be recording my footage all the way through. The idea to record only came to me towards the end, so you see the last few minutes of what I saw, including Skull Kid and the eagle statue, but it's on YouTube here. Day 4.WNV. I'm going to stay in this thread of a little while longer before I fall asleep to answer any questions you guys might have, or hopefully listen to the ideas or theories to help me shed some light onto this, or maybe things I should try to do. I think I'm going to play Ben's file tomorrow to see what happens. Maybe I was supposed to do this all along. I don't believe in paranormal shit. This is a little fucked up, but maybe this Ben guy is really good hacker/program. I don't want to think about the alternatives if he isn't. The end of this copy-paste, I'm hoping that maybe this is some kind of running gag the developers had, and that other people have gotten the gag or hacked copies of the game like this. This really scares me. Post number 2, September 8th, 2010. I'm going to post whatever happened in the link of the video footage, but last night everything got too real for me. I think I'm done messing around with this. I passed out pretty much immediately after making that thread. But last night, the Elegy of Emptiness statue I had dreamed about, I dreamed that it was following me in my dream, that I would be minding my own business when I feel my neck hair stand up on the end. I would turn around and see that thing, that horrible, lifeless statue, would be staring up with those empty eyes right at me, mercilessly inches away. In my dream, I remember calling Ben, and never before had I had a dream that I could never remember so vividly. But the important thing is, I did get some sleep. I suppose today, putting off playing the game as long as I could. I drove back to the neighbors to see if the old maid came back. As I expected, the car was still gone, and no one was home. As I was walking back to the car, the man next door, mowing the grass, killed the power to his lawnmower and asked me if I was looking for someone. I told him that I was looking to talk to an old man that lived there, to which he told me I already knew he was moving. Trying a different avenue, I asked if the old man had any family or relatives I could talk to. I discovered that this old man never been married, nor did he have any children or grandchildren through adoption. Starting to become worried, I asked the final question, one that I should have asked from the beginning. Who was Ben? The man's expression turned grim, and I learned that 4 doors down, around 8 years ago, on April 23rd, the man informed me that the same day of his anniversary, that's how he knew the specific date, there was an accident with a young boy named Ben in the neighborhood. Shortly after his parents moved, and despite any further attempts to talk to the man to get more information, he wouldn't budge anything else. I went back and started playing again. I loaded up the game, and immediately I jumped at the title screen where the mask flies by. The sound that played was not normal whoosh sound. It was something much more higher pitched. I pressed start, bracing the worst, but just like the 2 nights ago, the save files, Your Turn and Ben, were displayed. Truth be told, I looked at the Ben file earlier. It seemed fluctuated between displaying an owl statue and not. I brought up the file, hesitated for a moment, noticing the stats were not the same as the original were 2 days ago. It seemed like they had already completed a stone tower this time. Summoning my courage, I selected it. I immediately thrust into complete chaos. Sure enough, I was outside Stone Tower Temple, but that's about all that I was expected. The zone itself wasn't called Stone Tower Temple, but rather Stone, and immediately a dialogue box was completely gibberish that I couldn't make out greeted me. Link's body was disoriented. His back was crooked violently, and the side where his posture was immediately disfigured. Link's expression was dull and almost murderous. He had an expression on his face that I didn't recognize before. It was a blank look, as if he were dead. As Link stood there, his body immediately regularly it spasmed back and forth. I examined what had been of my avatar and noticed that the C button items I had never seen before. Some kind of note, but pressing it did nothing. Sounds played back and forth that I didn't recognize from the game, almost demonic in nature. And there was some kind of high-pitched yip or some kind of laugh or something playing in the background. I had all 2 minutes to take the environment before another one of those fucking Elegy of Emptiness statue was summoned, and I immediately after I was cut into a Dawn of a New Day screen, except this time it was without the 11 subtext. It was a Doku scrub in Clock Tower. The scene was normally played after the first time you traveled back in time. Tata would say, "What just happened?" It's as if everything has, but instead of saying, "Start over," she finished her remark in a broken text and laughed. And as the laugh of the happy mask salesman played in the background, I was put back in the control of my character, but from a fucked up angle. I was looking from behind the door of the clock tower, watching my avatar run along as a Goku scrub, seeing as how I really had no place to go because I couldn't see anything. I went inside the door. There I was greeted by a happy mask salesman who told me, "You've met with a terrible fate, haven't you?" before the screen wiped out. I was in the Tremaran fields as a human again. I might as well not have been playing the same game anymore. I was being wrapped around, and there was no sign of the day clock or anything. I took a moment to get my bearings. As I looked around the field, and immediately I could tell that this was not normal. There was no enemies, and a twisted version of the Happy Mask Salesman thing was playing. I decided to run towards Woodfall before I noticed a gathering of 3 figures off the side, one of them being Epona. As I approached them, to my horror, I saw the Happy Mask Salesman, the Skull Kid, and the Elegy of Emptiness statues just standing there. I figured maybe they were bugged out, but by now I told myself that I should have known better. Nonetheless, I approached them carefully and found that Skull Kid was playing some kind of idle animation on loop. Same with Epona, and the Elegy of Emptiness statue was doing what it's been doing all along, just standing there eerily. It was the Happy Mask Salesman that scared me more profoundly than the other 2. He was too idle, wearing his shit-eating green, but wherever I moved, his head slowly turned and followed me. I had not engaged in any dialogue with him, nor was I in combat with him, yet his head still cornered to follow my movements. Reminded of the first encounter with Skull Kid on the top of Clock Tower, I pulled out my ocarina, to which the game played the ding sound where you're supposed to play your ocarina. I tried a song I haven't yet played, the Happy Mask theme song, and the song had been playing on loop back in day 4, the Song of Healing. I finished playing the song. As I did, an eerie pitched shriek blasted from my TV. The sky immediately started flashing, and Happy Mask Salesman twisted theme song sped up, intensifying the fear inside me. Link exploded into flames and died. The 3 figures stayed lit up during my death. The screen as they watched my lifeless body burn. I can't describe to you how sudden and terrifying the transition from the eerie to terror it is. You're going to have to watch the video if you want to see it firsthand. The same fear that caused me to lose sleep 2 days ago started to grip me again as I was met with the text, "You've met with a terrible fate, haven't you?" for the 3rd time. There has been some kind of meaning behind all that. I had little more time to ponder as I immediately given another small cutscene of transforming into Zora, and now I found myself in the Great Temple Bay. Hesitant but curious to see what the game had in store for me, I slowly made my way towards the beach, where I found Epona, and I wondered why the game had decided to put her here. Was the game implying she was trying to get a drink? Unable to take the mask off, I decided that writing the scene wasn't a reason she was placed there. Suddenly, I realized that Epona kept neighing, and the way she kept angling again, it looked like she was trying to signal a point me off into the distance. It was a hunch, but I dove into the Great Bay and started swimming. Sure enough, I almost missed it. I found something at the bottom of the ocean. The one last Elgia of Infinite statue. I went down to examine it, and suddenly my Zora started doing a choking animation I had never seen a Zora do before, which didn't even make sense because Zoras can breathe underwater. Regardless, my character choked to death and died. And again, the statue was the only thing that highlighted my death. I didn't respawn this time. I was booted back to the main menu status as I restarted the console. Ben.WMV. The press start screen was before me. I knew the only reason why it would put me here is because the save files have changed again. Taking a deep breath, I pressed start and I was right. The new save files told me about Ben. Now it made sense why the statue appeared when I tried to go to the laundry pool. The game must have anticipated how I would have tried to escape the day 4 o'clock town. The two save files told me his fate. As I suspected, Ben was dead. He had drowned. The game was obviously wasn't through with me. It taunts me with the new save files. It wants me to keep playing. It wants me to go further, but I'm done with this shit. I'm not touching any more save files. This is already way too horrifying for me. I don't even believe in paranormal, but I'm running out of explanations. Why would someone send me this message? I don't understand it. I just get too depressed thinking about this. The footage is up here for those of you who want to try and analyze it. Maybe there's some kind of coded message in the gibberish for something, or something symbolic in this, and what I went through. I'm too emotionally and mentally drained to fuck with it anymore. Post 3, September 10th, 2010. I know it's early in the morning. I stayed up all night. I can't sleep. I don't care if people see this. That's not the point. I want the word to get spread. I want the word to get spread so I don't suffer for nothing. I've lost the will to type about this. The less I dwell on this, the better. I think the video just speaks for itself. I did what you guys told me to do. I played the Elegy of Emptiness song at the first attempt by the game I was given. But I think that's what the game, or Ben, Jesus Christ, I can't believe I'm even humoring the absurd idea he exists in the game wanted me to do. He's following me now, not in just the game. He's in my dreams. I see him all the time, behind my back, just watching me. I haven't gone to any of my classes. I stayed in my dorm room and with the windows closed and the blinds shut. That way, I know he didn't watch me. But he still gets me when I play. When I play, he can still see me. The game is scaring me now. It talked to me just for the first time. Not just using the text already in the game. It spoke to me. Talked to me. Its reference, Ben. It talked to me. I don't know what it means. I don't know what it wants. I never wanted this. I just want my old life back. Drowned.WMV. Stuff like this doesn't happen to people like me. I'm just a kid. I'm not even old enough to drink yet. It's not fair. I want to go home. I want to see my parents again. I'm so far away from my home here at school. I want to hug my mom again. I want to forget the statue's horrible blank face. My original game file is back, just the way I left it before it was gone. I don't want to play anymore. I feel like something bad is about to happen if I don't, but that's impossible. It's a video game. Haunted or not, it can't hurt me, right? Like, seriously, though, it can't, right? What would I keep telling myself? But every time I think about it, I'm not sure. September 4th, or post 4, September 12th, 2010. Let me clear things up. I know you guys are worried about Gisable. It's okay. He's finished moving out today, and he said he's going back home. He's just taking this semester off. I'm not really sure what happened. I have a vague idea, but you guys probably know more than I do. I'm Gisable's roommate, and obviously I know something was wrong with him for a few days now. He stayed in his room all the time, fell out of contact with literally all of his friends. I'm pretty sure he hasn't been eating hardly anything after the second day. I couldn't stay in there anymore, so I've been crashing at a buddy's place, only coming in the room to get my stuff that I needed. I tried talking to him several times, but he would cut me off or keep the conversation brief when I asked him about his strange behavior. It's like he was convinced something was hunting him. Yesterday, I came to grab my philosophy book, and he approached me looking awful, like horrible bags under his eyes. He handed me a flash drive and gave me specific instructions. He told me that he needs me to do one last favor for him. He finally explained to me what has been going on. Gave me the account for his YouTube account and told me that he's getting away from here. That it lured him to play again, instead of trying to change things, and that he shouldn't have done that. And to upload the footage to inform people what happened. I told him that he could do it himself, and that he got this weird look in his eyes and told me that he never looking at the game again. And that's the last thing he said to me. He never even said bye when his parents came to pick him up. I never even got to meet his parents. I honestly can't tell you what happened when he spoke. It was kind of hard to understand him, and his fucked up appearance really distracted me. On the flash drive, there was a footage of the game last night. A text documented with the name and the password of the YouTube, and a third document called the truth.txt, containing what he told me was his notes that he had taken. He told me that this meant everything to him, that I follow his instructions exactly. Normally, I wouldn't be so to the letter for a request over a fucking video game, but the way he spoke and the way he looked made me know that this was serious, and I'm going to honor that. I've had this video since yesterday, but I had someone help me use Pinnacle. That's not really my forte. That after watching it, I had to go back through and look at his other videos on his YouTube account to realize what he was going to do. I'm really, really confused. The video I'm releasing, the truth.txt, will be released on September 15th, as he requested. I haven't dared pick at it yet, so the first time I will see it will be the first time you see it, out of the respect of my friend. To answer your questions, no, I haven't tried calling him yet. I think I'm going to give him a call tomorrow to see if he's okay or not. He should have gotten home by now. Jawsable.wnv, about the video. In this video, I cut straight to when he loaded the Ben file in the game. Looking back, I realized that Jawsable left the Safe Select screen in because it said different names sometimes. So my bad for that. But all it said at the time was the same at the end of the last video. Link and Ben. Nothing different. I wasn't there when he played it, but it looks like to me in the beginning when he first spawns, he's testing out equipment or seeing what item he has or something, because apparently he's changing randomly before. Then after that, I just think the game got too personal for him. Post 5, September 15th, 2010. Hello guys, Jawsable here. This will be the last video you will be hearing from me, and this is my final gift to you. These are the notes that I have taken and the realization I made. Before I delete this to you, I want to thank you for following me and thank you for listening. It feels like the weight of a powerful burden has been lifted off my shoulders. By the time you read this, I won't be around anymore. After spending 4 days with this maddening game, I think I begin to understand what really is at play here, and hopefully after reading this, we can assure this never happens again. There are things that I could not share with you. This was due to the circumstances, to which I'll explain. With Ben blocking any attempt I made to try and rely on trying to tell you the truth. I've tried. Ever so subtly, I've warned you guys various ways. Amidst the chaos in my delirium, I devised to make a barely noticeable pattern in my videos. In all 5 videos I recorded over the 4 days, I have either had the Truth of Max interacted with the Gossip Stone, or the Lens of Truth equipped at some point. For you Zelda enthusiasts, these are the symbols of honesty and trustworthiness. La la la. And I would hope that one of you have picked it up on the reference. As I played the file, which I would name Ben, being mindful of how Ben was watching over my every move in the game, I made a point to avoid doing anything too obvious, but I sent out a hidden message to you guys. I never equipped the lens, nor the mask, nor visited a stone. It worked, and the video was uploaded. I prayed that someone would notice the pattern didn't apply to Ben. The tags follow suit too. I hope you guys paid attention to those as well. They were a little message too, nothing vague enough that would catch Ben's attention or make him suspect anything. With Ben manipulation and changing my files, I honestly hope that you guys saw this with what closely actually happened. There's no way for me to know. This is a long read. I don't have time to proofread or make any search pretty, not to make the search pretty, but here it is. September 6, 2010, 11 p.m. Can't believe what happened. Not sure if this is some kind of elaborate hoax despite my fear. I can't help be especially curious about this. Who or what is the statue? A lot of questions here. I'm starting this documentary as a diary, so I can keep track of everything. I'm typing up a summary of what happened so I can come back to it later. September 7th, 2010, 2:10 a.m. Summary was posted here. You can go back and look at it, the first post for day 4.WNV for that. 4:23. Can't sleep. I've been typing so hard, but the harder I try, I just get more restless. I feel like the statue is appearing whenever I close my eyes. 8:20 a.m. Didn't sleep at all. I'm going to start my day. Didn't sleep at all. Just going to start my day. I don't think I have enough energy to go to class today. I'm going to drive back down and talk with that old man, taking my buddy Tyler with me, just in case. 1:18 p.m. Back home now. No sign of the old man. Really weird that he appears to be moving the next day. But maybe the for sale sign was up yesterday and I just didn't notice it. Tyler wants to know what's got me all worked up. I didn't tell him. Going to eat. Feel like death. 3:46 p.m. Could have sworn driving back from the subway that I saw the LG statue buried in some shrubbery staring at me go by. No, I definitely need sleep. 5 p.m. Don't think a lot of people would believe me if I told them what's happening. Think I'm going to try posting this on the internet. Think I'll use the summary. These notes are pretty sporadic. 6 p.m. Connecting my capture card to the computer to upload the footage. Though my computer froze for a second, it made this strange popping sound when I hooked everything up, but now it seems to be working fine. My computer can't die on me now. 7 o'clock. 7 p.m. Footage is finished uploading. The quality is a lot better than I thought it would be. Gee, guess this is a really special cartridge. I have never had it come through this clear before. 8:45 p.m. Though I thought I saw an icon pop up on my desktop that looked like the statue's face for a split second. Gave me quite a scare. Getting really unnerved and delirious. I'm going to crash after this. 9 p.m. Began uploading my YouTube video on an alternate account. 9:03. I don't remember uploading a Vampire the Massacre Bloodline video last year. This was probably the account that I shared with my friend mid last summer. I hope he doesn't mind me using this to upload. 9:55. Posting my summary of day 4 with the link of the YouTube video. Going to try to stay awake, but I'm so tired right now. September 8th, 2010. 10:48 a.m. I had a dream about the statue. I dreamed that it was following me in my dream, and that I would be minding my own business. When I'd feel the hairs on my neck stand up, I would turn around. That horrible, lifeless statue would be staring at me with those empty eyes right at me, merely inches away. And in my dream, I remember calling it Ben. Power of suggestion, most likely. And never before had I had a dream that I remember so vividly. 11:21 a.m. I really don't want to play this game again. I think I'm going to go back to see if that old man is there instead. No old man, but I had an 1:35 p.m. No old man, but I had an interesting conversation with the neighbor. I'll post the full thing with the summary on tonight's attempt at playing the game. Going to wait for a bit, though, and see if I can dig up any information on the Ben guy. 2:45 p.m. I've been getting random inexplicable headaches due to the lack of sleep and keep hearing that song in my head. Also, it's flu season, so I need to be careful not to get sick. My immune system is going to be shit right now because of that all-nighter. 3 p.m. 3:02 p.m. My computer's just on its own. Opened up a text document and wrote the words hi and www.cleverbot.com by itself. What the fuck? 3:46 p.m. I went to the website. It's one of those bot chatting programs. I think it's best if I just let the conversation speak for itself. 9:10 conversation. Hello? Hello? Who is this and how are you able to control my computer? Who am I? Right, forgot you're a bot. Do you really think that? Listen, I know whoever's fucking with my computer can see my screen right now. Yes. Yeah, and I'm wagered that you're one of those it kids who thinks you're tough shit. You know what you're doing right now is illegal, right? Is it? No shit. Are you familiar with the term invasion of privacy? Get the fuck off my computer, kid. I am your computer. Cool story. Anyways, I'm calling PDS and you picked a bad time to fuck with me, kid. Should I wait until you play the game then? What? That game? Majora's Mask? Yes. How'd you know about that? Because what? I did it. Did what? Played with you. What the fuck? Were you scared? Who the fuck is this? Ben? The statue? You're inside my computer now? Yes. How? You connected me. How the hell did I connect you? Cables and cords. How? Tell me about yourself. What? Tell me about yourself. What do you mean? What is it that really scares you? What the fuck? Answer. No. Answer. What the fuck? How the fuck did you just open that by yourself? I am your computer now. How much can you control? Oh. What do you want from me? To entertain. You're stuck inside there. You can't hurt me. Ha! Question mark. Go play. No, you can't hurt me. Take you longer to type that. So? You're not sure. If you're so powerful, why use a ridiculous website like this to chat with me? Less messy. More structured. Fun. Fun? Yes, traditional. I like. You think it's funny? Amusing. In my notes? You may write them down. Why are you letting me? It's amusing to see what you think of me. Window closes. 3:50 p.m. What have I done? I've invited it into my computer. I continue to write these notes, write my summaries. I feel like I'm a prisoner in place of my security. I don't know if I'm hallucinating or not. I feel like I'm fucking insane right now. I can feel it watching over me, even as I type this. Ben is controlling everything in the game, toying with me, leading me like a sheep. But for what? What's the purpose? I know Ben drowned, but why these hauntings? What the fuck am I even doing? You could probably see this right now. Summary of Ben. 435. Summary of Ben. WMV playthrough. 7:18. Ben called me to the Cleverbot again. He tells me that he's sorry, he wants to be free, and that I can free him. That just like how he got on my computer from the capture card. He can spread, but he needs my help. He says I'm special because I can help him. That is the first nice thing he has said. He promises to leave me alone if I do it. He swears he will. I don't know what to think right now. How can I even trust that thing? 7:20 p.m. I'm terrified of it, but now it's saying it was just having fun. It's twisted and fucked up version of fun. He's saying that the game is over. I do want it to be over. He says that he just wants to be free, that he's trapped in the cartridge and my computer. He wants to be freed. I don't want to have to deal with this shit. I don't know how long I can deal with it watching me. It's watching my every move, every keystroke. I had nothing private anymore. It knows everything that's been on my computer. It tells that if it wanted to, it could do horrible things to me, but it hasn't. So I should trust it. So should I trust it? 8:01 p.m. Something tells me that I'm being played again, just like the game. 9:29 p.m. Ben called me to Cleverbot again. I ignored it and went to take a shower. When I came to the laptop, I was welcomed by an image, alleged statue staring at me with those dead eyes. I don't want to talk to him. 9:44 p.m. Fuck you, Ben. I'm not talking to you. 9:56. Fuck you, Ben. I'm not talking to you. 10:06 p.m. Fuck you, Ben. I'm not talking to you. 10:12 p.m. Fuck you, Ben. I'm not talking. 10:45. It's been more than half an hour and the messages have stopped. Ben has stopped. I'm beginning to think that Ben isn't confined to my computer or my cartridge. I'm beginning to feel something. It's hard to explain. I've never been spiritual, but there's something different about the air in my dorm right now. 11:42 p.m. I'm beginning to see the LG statue randomly as I search the internet in places I shouldn't, places where he shouldn't be. I'd be scrolling down and suddenly I'd be staring at the picture of the LG statue. Always the LG statue. I don't know how much more I can take of this. September 9th, 2010, 12:35 a.m. My worst fears confirmed. Ben has tampered with my summary of ben.wmv. I looked over the summary that I had posted on various forums for the ben.wmv file, and parts had been omitted. There was no mentioning of Ben's existence outside the game. There's no mention of the Moon Children. How could he have been so quick to delete the post without me noticing? I'm wondering if maybe it appeared to me that I was posting everything, but in reality, Ben was posting his own censored version. I'm going to ask Ben why he did it. 12:50 a.m. He isn't responding to me on Cleverbot. It's just giving me the generic responses it usually does. I'm just talking to a bot at this time. 1:24 a.m. I think Ben is mad at me. 10:43 a.m. The Moon Children appeared in my dream last night. They lifted up their masks to reveal their hideous, disfigured faces, maggots crawling out of their orifices, sunken black holes where their eyes should be, a yellow smile that slowly grew wider, that grew bigger and bigger as they came closer to me. They told me they wanted to play. I tried to run from them, but the 4 children pinned me down to the ground with surprising strength. Over them stood the happy mask salesman, announcing that he had a new mask that he wanted me to try. In his spastic, sudden movements, matching his in-game appearance, he took out a mask and molded off of someone's faces that I couldn't recognize, a younger-looking face, and handed it to the Moon Children. Giggling, they latched it to my face. Their horrible, broken bodies bounced up and down. 2 of them held me down, while the other 2 began to sew the mask onto my face. My shrieks and screams caused the happy mask salesman's face to turn into a horrific smile that I have ever seen. His sportically moved around, examining his procedure like a curious doctor in that impossible movement. I flailed around, but to no use. My eyes rolled in the back of my head because of the pain. It felt so real, but I couldn't wake up. I couldn't wake up no matter how hard I tried to wake up. After the mask was molded onto my flesh, they began sewing my legs together, then my arms, the horrific feeling of a needle puncturing my legs and pulling them in, rupturing their Achilles tendons, and tying them together, resounded throughout my entire body. I tried to scream, but the mask was pressed so tightly against my face that it was my new face. My new face had no mouth. It didn't make a sound. I tried telling myself in my head that I was dreaming, telling myself again and again, and suddenly the Moon Children stopped and looked at me. They just stared. And Happy Mask Salesman slowly bent down and stared at me, inches away from my face, and grinning when he simply said, "You've met with a terrible fate, haven't you?" Before the Moon Children resumed with increased vigor, I couldn't wake up. I couldn't let me wake up until they had crafted me into another Ilagi statue. I woke up sweating, crying, and shaking uncontrollably. I immediately ran to my computer and went for Ben. 9:10, Conversation 1. Answer me, Ben. Welcome back. What is the point of doing this? Why? Amusing to me. How? Fun to play. Fun to toy with you. Make you feel safe. Triple dot. I wonder how you would have reacted. To what? If you haven't reviewed myself and stayed hidden, only doing little things to play with you. Close out of your windows, turn off your computer, move your mouse by itself, little things. Make you wonder if I am here, but you never know. Give you little hints that I am. I wanted to do something different with you. You did this before? Yes, and I will do it again. To who, Ben? Do you know Ben? Won't tell that information to you. How did you die, Ben? You know. No. But how did you drown? Won't tell that to you. Why? It is reserved for another. Who? Anyone who asked. When? Later. The window closed. I'm beginning to think that this thing maybe isn't Ben after all. In its satanic nature, I wouldn't be surprised if it took the boy's name after it killed him. 12:04 p.m. My room is beginning to feel different again. There's something out there. I feel really threatened. Like there is something that is trying to reach out to me and strangle me, but it can't quite get there. 12:46 p.m. I think Ben doesn't want to play with me anymore. I'll play again. I'll play the game again, Ben. Can you see this? I'll play the game again. Please, just stop this. Please. 1:41. I'm going insane, trying to decide what is real and what isn't. Ben is playing a trick on me, or is this real? Is Ben generating these replies, or are people actually posting them? Did I just see the screen flicker, or is that just my imagination? Imagine depending on the internet and trusting your eyes for your entire life and then being blinded. You can't rely on it anymore. You second guess everything for a brief moment. I am looking at my responses to the videos, people who are pointing out things that look fake or photoshopped or whatever, and there is literally no way for me to know if Ben changed anything on purpose or to shut me up, or if maybe these replies were just constructed by Ben and tried to discourage me from even reaching it. See, I got fucking caught in an infinite mindfuck loop like this, and this has been wearing on my sanity and pushing me to the edge. As I'm writing this, there's no way for me even for me telling if anyone cares as much as they do. Just another fucking trick. This whole fucking document even exists? Am I writing nothing? 9/9/10. Conversation 2. What is it? What is the point of playing? I die whenever I do anything. You die because you can't figure out the secret. What? Thematic. What the fuck are you talking about? There's beauty in your suffering. Window closed. 4:09 p.m. Ben is making me play that game again. It tells me that there is something very important to show me. 9:23 p.m. Summary of Drowned.WMV playthrough. 9:09 p.m. Summary of Children.WMV playthrough. September 10th, 2010. 11:52 a.m. The Drowned.WMV playthrough was up when I woke up today. I remember typing it, but I don't remember posting it. He censored it again. There is no mentioning of the old man. I have no voice anymore. I am only posting what he wants me to. I am the mask he uses to disguise himself as he lies. 11:55 a.m. There's an entire video summary of a video that I don't remember doing. Reading through the summary, this sounds morbid, resembling my dream from 2 nights ago, except on a far more sadistic scale. These moon children, there's something more to them, almost as if they're another entity from Ben. Something happened last night that I can't remember. I'm posting the fourth summary of the forums now. Shadow of my chair moved. 12 p.m. Ben won't let me visit YouTube. I can browse the rest of the sites, but he keeps on exiting the window when I go to YouTube. Why? 2:02 p.m. I'm feeling the air start to contrast. I don't think I'm alone here. Whatever Aurora has been here is getting more violent. 12:44 p.m. I'm trying to contact Ben on Cleverbot. He's not responding. I'm just get the AL. 3:51 p.m. My ears aren't fooling me. I'm hearing the reverse song of healing. I keep hearing it. 4:23 p.m. No, I'm positive of it. Earlier, I thought it was a weird coincidence, but just now I went to open my window, and 3 floors down at ground level, I saw the old man. I'm completely positive of it. The same guy. He was staring up at my window, standing in the middle of campus. If any students took notice of him, they didn't seem to acknowledge him. That's where my notes end. I fled the room, taking the cartridge with me. I didn't want to go into details of what happened. I'll lose my train of thought if I hammer out all the last details. It's been rough these 2 days since then. This is my last summary and received to you. The final video you guys saw, Matt.WNV. The last video entry I made, Matt.WNV, began as normal. I was spawned at Clock Tower as usual, and nothing seemed to be out of place. Determined to set things right and play the Oath to Order on top of the Clock Tower on the 4th day. I prepared myself. I sped I sped up time and got to the final day, making my way to the observatory. As I got up to the telescope room, I approached the astronomer. He would not let me look into this telescope. He told me that it would be cheating and that I had to follow the rules. Despite my repeat efforts, the game would not let me do the fourth day glitch. No matter how hard or what I tried working around the game and doing the glitch, but it was admit this time, regardless of if I simply had the illusion of free will in prior games. This is the game became more aggressive than anything I've ever seen. It eventually told me to go to Icane Canyon, where the game would end and stop haunting me. Anxious and desperate to end the nightmare, I played the Song of Soaring and ended up there. I was told to check my inventory, that I would find the answers there to end the game. I arrived at Icane Canyon and saved my progress at the owl statue. As I searched through the inventory, I finally noticed what I was missing, a recurring song, the Elegy of Emptiness. Obviously, once I traveled there and learned the song, I suppose that was the last thing I needed before Ben decided it had enough fun playing with me. Ben is a manipulator. He's trying to fool his victims into secure and makes you drop your guard like a Venus flytrap. He ensnares them. I am nothing but a puppet to him. He enjoys seeing what kind of human emotions he can tap into by doing different things. There are still some things, the whole experience, that still don't make sense. But then again, I never was good at figuring out these things, and I'm not exactly in the right state of mind to. I'm giving you all the pieces of the puzzle for you to analyze and piece them together to the missing links. I'm typing these closing thoughts on the library computer on campus, and I've emailed myself the notes and stored for my infected computer from the last 4 days. I'm then going to combine these copy-paste notes with the closing openings that I've typed there on the safe public computer in one text document. I'm not taking any chances spreading Ben. I would not wish this horrible torment on anyone, and I've made sure to have my bases covered here. I didn't run into any problems with Ben when I was back on my computer trying to email myself the notes. Went right under his fucking nose. He has no idea what he just let me do. Had no problems opening the TXT document from my infected computer in my email either. I can't describe to you how it feels to finally be able to get word out in this post. The nightmare ends here. That said, do not download any of my videos or anything about my videos. Though a YouTube video audio ripper, a screen grab, whatever. I don't know how he can spread, but I know that just watching him on YouTube / reading my text won't be able to allow him to spread. Otherwise, he won't be needing my help in the first place. But I strongly recommend you do not take anything you see streaming online onto your own personal computer. This will be my last posting I'm putting up on the forum here for the world. If you see any forum posts from me on today's current events, September 12th, and after the current time, 12:08 a.m., just read them. Discredit them. It's already had proved to me that Ben can access my account and password and manipulate my computer. And like I said, I have no idea what extent it can do, but now that it will do anything to break free. He is desperate to invade your safety. To ensure your safety, just forget about me, please. And this obviously goes without saying, but from here on out, do not download any images I may have put up, any files, anything. This 5th day will be my last day. I'm going to burn the cartridge and then come back to destroy my laptop. Again, even though I don't know you, this is sort of bittersweet for me. This semester, I really didn't have any friends, or rather, I stopped paying attention to them. But I suppose that's particularly to blame because I'm the genius who picked to live in a single. I suppose someone's to get a hold of me and save me before I get too immersed in this game would have literally saved my life. However, it's proving too much for me. I'm glad it just happened to me and I could get the warning out so that Ben dies here. Lastly, thank you for taking the time to open this and open yourselves up to me by hearing my story despite maybe not believing me. You don't have to do that. Really, you shouldn't have. Your support this entire time has kept me going, and now I am finally going to be free of this. Thanks again, Jossable. You shouldn't have done that, Matt. You shouldn't have done that.